Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, it is early in January and we have a cold front that's about to blow in. In fact, it was supposed to come in tonight is my understanding, but it actually blew in earlier this morning. When I got up this morning, it was 66 out. It was actually really nice. There was a little warm breeze blowing, and about 9 o'clock or so the wind started blowing, and in that time the temperature has steadily dropped. Let me show you where we are now. Yeah, like I said, it was 66 this morning. It's 48 degrees now, so we've had about an 18 degree drop. So yeah, it's a lot colder out there, and this ain't the end yet. We're supposed to be going through a cold streak. Apparently there is a polar front that's coming across most of the United States, and especially in the southern end of the state where we're going into freeze warnings. It's going to get really cold tonight, maybe down into the 20s and 30s, and over the next couple of days we may have some freezing rain or maybe even some snow on Friday. So I got to do a few things to get the house ready, because I want to do a little better job this time this year, kind of trying to protect some of the plants in the yard, because last year when this happened I was out of town for my mom's funeral, and I lost a lot of plants because of it. This year I want to kind of do some things to protect that, and there's a couple other things I want to do to prepare too. Those of you who live any place where it freezes, you know what these are. These are little insulated plastic and styrofoam covers you can put over your outlet faucets outside, like the hose spigots and stuff like that. And that will insulate the spigot inside so it doesn't cause your pipes to freeze. And that's an important thing when you're getting cold. I don't think it's going to get that cold, but we went out and bought a few new of these today from Home Depot, and we're going to put these up. Alright, these little things are pretty easy to install. There's this little loop on the inside. You wrap it around your faucet here, or you can go around the handle if you want to. I'm going to go around the faucet, and then you just pull from the back. This thing gets pushed up against the wall. There's a little clamp thing on here, and you push it closed, clamp it into place, and there you're good to go. So the plastic will kind of protect the outside, and then the styrofoam inside will act as insulation, and that insulation in combination with some of the heat coming off of the house will hopefully keep everything from freezing, and that's what we want to do. I got 2 more of these to install in the front yard. I'll get them taken care of. And the next thing I need to do to prepare for what's coming is look after Flash, because this is part of the reason I made her box so portable, because I knew from time to time that it was going to get so cold here that she had to be moved, and the best way to move her is to move her and the thing she's in. So we're going to move Flash into the garage, and that will definitely keep her a lot warmer until this is all over. So when I move Flash in, I usually move her into the garage. I don't want to go bringing her into the house, because that'll bring her temperature up too much, then she'll be up and about. I want her to stay kind of in a hibernation state. So what I do is I just move her whole box right here into the storm shelter, and that's a perfect place for her to be. It's not going to get much below 60 in here, and she'll be perfectly healthy in here. So she's going to be here for the next few days, and have a good sleep, Flash. Next thing I want to handle is the rain barrel. I want to make sure we get this thing empty. Last year, when I got back after my mom's funeral and we had that cold streak, this thing was frozen solid, and I can't have that. That's not a good idea. Eventually that's going to break the barrel, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep that working. So what I actually did when I was out at Home Depot getting the little insulation things for the water spigots, I also got a cheap $15 hose, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the hose to the spigot here, run it over here, and run it out into this part of the yard here. This part doesn't ever get as much water as it should, because it's under the patio cover, and so it doesn't get natural rain, so it only gets watered when the sprinklers go on, which is, granted, that's a regular thing, but still, I'm going to empty the remains of the rain barrel into this section here using that section of hose. So yeah, this is a section here with the hose that I've attached. It basically just goes over the garden, and since that's downhill from this, especially because this thing's built up on the platform, gravity will just pull everything out. And so that's an easy way to drain out the rain barrel. We'll get some more rain coming soon and refill that once the freeze is over. For now, the plants will enjoy it. Okay, so I've had hydrangea in here for a while, and basically one of the things I really like about hydrangea is it does really well in the heat of the summer as long as you're not exposing it to direct sunlight. And under the trees here, it's a good place for it to be. I also like the fact that you can just kind of cut it back to almost nothing at the end of the season, and it will come back the next year. In fact, you can already see some green on this one here and over here. So all you have to do right now is protect these delicate little buds from the extreme cold, and I've got just a real simple little way I'm going to do that. Let me show you what I got in mind. Yeah, that's my cheat. I just got a couple of Home Depot buckets, put one of them over each of the plants. I'm going to put a brick on top of each one of them so that the wind doesn't blow the buckets over, because it's still real windy and gusty. That's what's bringing the cold down. In fact, this place is almost tolerable to be out here when the wind isn't blowing, but the second the wind starts blowing, it cuts through you. Now the next thing I need to do is cover up the more extensive gardens in the front and backyard, because if we're going to get any snow out of this storm, which is possible, or if we're going to get some ice out of this storm, which is very likely, I need to have all my plants covered up. Now it turns out a friend of mine at work a couple years ago gave me a whole bunch of these things. I have no idea exactly what they are. But she says she's used them in the past for protecting plants. I think it's something she's repurposing. It's some bag or something that something was shipped in or something like that, or wrapped up in. I don't know exactly, but like I said, she said she uses them for covering up her garden during the winter to protect from frost and stuff like that. And this is the first time I've actually looked at them. They were just all stuffed in a bag. And it looks like it's actually a sack with like elastic around the bottom of it. So I think what I can do is just kind of put 3 or 4 of my plants in the yard underneath one of these things, and then just hold it down with bricks. And I bet you that's going to provide really good protection. I've got 6 of them out of the bag right now, and there's several more in the bag that they came in. So I'm going to start putting these in the front yard, and let's see how that all works. Alright, so yeah, I got these covers over everything. Got some little bricks or rocks or things to hold everything down. But actually turned out I had more of these things than I thought. I thought I maybe had 8 or 9. I have 11 of them. So I did everything here in the front yard. I actually got a couple more shrubs I might cover up. But for now, we're going to kind of play it by ear and see how it works. I got also one in the backyard, and I'll show you that one. Yeah, this is the area in the backyard kind of where I decided to put one, because there are 3 things that are still doing well under here. And if I can keep them from freezing over too much, then maybe we can keep them alive for another season. But, you know, we got everything done out here. Got all the covers or the buckets on top of it. I could have gone with the orange buckets, but they had these white ones with the Texas flag on it, and I thought, well, okay, fine. I like the one with the Texas flags on it, but it's also a lighter color, so it'll allow a little bit more light, I think, to get into the inside of the bucket there, because we don't want to starve these things of light. We just want to protect them from the extreme cold and the snow and the ice. So I also put some rocks on it because it's been really windy lately, and I don't want the wind blowing the buckets off. But I think we got this place pretty much wrapped up for this freeze that we're about to hit. Right now they're still predicting maybe an ice storm on Thursday night and maybe some snow on Friday morning. So like I said, we got this all set to go. I'll probably end up covering up the philodendron over there with another one just to protect that, because those are kind of delicate too. I got a couple more of the little baggies, so you know, that's an option too. Oh yeah, it's later that night. Look at how cold it is now, 30 degrees. Oh, and by the way, the water in the bird bath, yeah, it's frozen. Frozen solid. No more birds bathing for a while. If you're watching the live stream this past Sunday, you'll know that about 5 minutes in, when the cuckoo clock went off at 11, it malfunctioned on me. Usually, you know, it goes through its cycle of cuckoos you know, one time for every hour, in this case 11 times because it was 11 o'clock. This one just didn't stop. It just kept going cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. So I ended up having to actually take the weight off of it in order to make it stop. And I think I'm going to probably have to bring this one back to the clock repair guy. Turns out that was the same thing. He worked on it before, and he says he made an adjustment and he thinks it'll help, but if it continues to happen again, he may need to do something a little bit more extreme, get in there and do a little bit more of an overhaul. So I think we're going to have to bring that back to him and have him take a look at it. But it turns out right now every single one of my clocks is not working correctly, so all of them are going to have some work done on them. This one, it doesn't feel like when you're winding it up that the key is turning right. It doesn't feel like, you know, there's usually a clicking sound when you turn the key. It isn't doing that. It used to do that, but it isn't. So I think something's wrong there, and I want to have him take a look at that too. He did such a good job before that, you know, I'm confident in his ability. This is an old clock, so there's all sorts of weird things going on. And then of course this clock here is the one that was in the shop for more than a year while the guy worked on it, and it worked fine for a while when I got it back, but it's not, I think the key itself that goes onto the mainspring is slipping, and so you can't wind it all the way up, and it doesn't run for 7 days when you do. So I want to have, since I don't want to, you know, give this guy a clock for another year, I'm going to go to the guy that's looked at the other clocks and have him look at that and see what's going to go on. And then we have the grandfather clock, and that's kind of an interesting situation. I think this is just a little minor adjustment. The problem I have is you'll start the pendulum going, and the pendulum will swing for 1 or 2 minutes and it'll stop. I think this is something I can probably deal with on my own. In fact, I was looking at this. I think if this is what I think it is, I was thinking, okay, well, clock repair vlog. It's like, now if this is a clock repair vlog and it is what I think it is, this isn't going to be something I can put a whole vlog into. So we'll just tack it on to the end of this vlog. I think what's happening is the pendulum swings on kind of a pivot point, and there's like a little metal bracket that comes down from the clock mechanism that attaches to the back of the pendulum, and it's that piece that translates the information, or the motion from the pendulum up to the clock. It also provides a little bit of a push to the pendulum to keep it going, and I think what happened is that came unhooked. It's just a little ring that goes over a little pin, and if you get a little out of position, it's not going to connect, and if it doesn't connect, the clock isn't going to work. So I think that's what it is, and I'm going to go check, see what that is, and see if that's what it is. And if it is, we'll rehook it up and get the thing going, and we'll wrap this vlog up. Okay, I got the back off the clock, and yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was. This is the pendulum here, and the pivot point on the pendulum. And remember I told you there's this little pin that goes through this hole here, and what it does, it translates the energy from the pendulum into the clock, and it also provides a little bit of a nudge to keep the pendulum running. And without that in that little slot there, it isn't going to work. The clock isn't going to run at all because it'll eventually just stop. So I'm going to leave this open for a little bit because the clock has actually been off for a couple of days. So when I do reset it, I'm going to have to get in here to the back and adjust the moon dial so we get that right, because it's 2 days off. But right now I'm going to start the pendulum going again, and we're going to verify that this works now. But like I said, as long as that pin is in there, we should be good. So that should wrap up this part of the video. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Stay warm.